Hey everybody, welcome back to the Orange Cheap Dad channel. Today in our blogging mentor series, we're going to talk about niche selection. Niche selection is one of the first hurdles you've got to get over when you start blogging. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. I struggled with it. When I first got started, it took me and my wife probably 2 months before we finally decided what niche we would start with. But it's funny because after a while, you'll start to kind of catch on to how you want to determine what your niches are. And I'm probably sitting on a good 6 to 10 niche ideas right now that I wish I could jump right into all of them. But you have to take your time and do due diligence with each one. So let's get started on, I'm not going to rehash what a niche is and what an authority site is. There's lots of videos on that. In fact, I'll link to the top 3 videos that I think Income School has released on their YouTube channel that talks about niche selection and how you can find niches. I think Jim says niche. So niche, same thing, tomato. But my point today is to get you to make a selection and try to jump into action. The problem with inaction or waiting for the perfect niche is it's just going to stop you from ever making progress. You're going to have to find a niche, get going and get started, and we'll walk through that process today. So let's get started.
Awesome. Okay, so here we are on my Orange Sheep Dad channel on YouTube, and I want to remind you that I started a playlist called Your Blogging Mentor. And as we progress through this series, I'll change the part numbers to try to keep in sequential order. But this first part is over just the basics of how blogs work and how they make money and niche selections. And I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here. There are already plenty of videos out there on how to set up your WordPress blog and how to monetize. I will touch on them a little bit as we go. But my point in this series is to kind of complement the Income School YouTube channel content and how I implemented it and what I did extra. And so today is about niche selection, and I have already linked to 2 of the Income School videos that I think were the most helpful. This one's almost 50 minutes on the topic, and there's another one. If you just do a search on the YouTube search bar for Income School and the word niche, it will show you. They have several that they've done over the past 2 or 3 years. And they also provide, if you go to Google and just type in Income School niche list, they put out a niche site idea list. It's an Excel spreadsheet that you can click right here. I think it may ask for your email address, but you can instantly download this list, and it lists a whole bunch of different niche ideas. My point today is just to get you thinking about niches. They're actually all around you. I think we tend to, we're set on trying to make the best selection and move forward with that best selection, and that analysis paralysis, it's sometimes called, can stop you from making any progress at all. So here's some ideas for you. I recommend that you pick something you know a little bit about, because that will keep you interested in the topic, and you're not the noob trying to learn something brand new. And you can go that route if you want to try it. It can be done, but I recommend when you're starting out to pick something you know. So here's one method for you. Go see what's in your garage. Go do an honest inventory of your garage. Just open the door, go stand in the middle of it and look around. I did that this morning to prepare for this video, and what I noticed was I saw all of my kayaks. Kayaking is something I really enjoy. I know something about it. I would love to write about it. I actually have a kayaking niche site, and that is how I chose it. We should talk about evergreen niches. Evergreen is the term used to describe a niche that is kind of never ending. In other words, if you pick, one of the things Income School teaches is don't pick a product that's going to be updated soon. Like, you don't want to go blog about the iPhone 10 because in 6 months there's going to be a new version and it's going to be outdated. That doesn't mean you can't be successful doing it, but it does mean that you're going to have to go back and update it and say, okay, now here's the new model and here's what I like about the new model. And you're just going to constantly have to be updating. You want to pick an evergreen niche. That means something that never changes, like kayaking, for example. Kayaking has been around for a long time. The basic premise hasn't changed. The composite materials that make up a kayak have changed and gotten more advanced. But that's an example of a evergreen niche that you can write about that won't go out of fashion, so to speak. Now, one thing I did want to show you, and then we'll go back to the garage analysis. You can go to Google Trends. It's right here at trends.google.com, and you can do searches for topics. So if you decide, let's say you decided you wanted to do kayaking, you could type in kayaking as your search term, hit enter, and it's going to show you. I've got it set for the past 5 years. Here's the trend of what kayaking does. And what you're seeing here is roughly every summer, lots of people are interested. If I can get it to show there, so June is where it's at its highest, and then of course in the winter, not so much. Back to the summer, June at its highest. So this is a cyclical niche. And it's not a bad thing, but it does mean that in the winter months, you shouldn't expect to see a lot of traffic on that. One of the ways to complement something like this, let's say, for example, you want to find the opposite. What's big in the winters? Let's say Santa. Here you'll see Santa Claus. Here you can barely see where the kayaking was, but this was the busy season for kayaking, the summer months, June through July. And then just opposite is Christmas. If I can get the mouse over to get right there. December, boom, 1 week. It's hot for 1 week. So can you make money blogging about it? Yeah, you probably can. You can make money on just about anything, but how much can you make is the key question. So, as you're looking at your niches, what I'm saying here is if you do find a cyclical niche, try to find an opposing cyclical niche so that you keep your income throughout the year. So let's go back to the garage analogy. So I'm in my garage and I'm looking around and I see back in the corner a self-playing piano. This is a beautiful piece of furniture that I picked up when I lived in Arizona, and it is an old-timey self-playing piano with the roller paper music with the holes punched in it, and it's just a fascinating piece of memorabilia to me, and it actually works. You can plug it in and it plays on its own, or you can play it manually yourself. And we had it in the house for several years. The kids took lessons on it, and it's a real neat conversation piece. It has stained glass doors that close where the music rolls go in, and that is an example of a niche that you could blog about because there is going to be a subset of people out there that are interested in those types of pianos. As I continued to look around, I realized my garage is a mess. And if I were to organize it better, garage organization is another really good niche. And it's actually would be a good Amazon affiliate niche to boot. And I believe that's one of the things if you download the niche site idea list from Income School. I think garage organization, if I remember right, was on their list. And they have a way of ranking them on there too, if I remember right. So something like garage organization, if you were to pursue that niche idea, you would write about, how to organize your wall, how to organize your ceiling space, how to organize the floor, maybe how to put flooring down like a rubber mat, how to organize certain types of tools in certain areas of the garage, how to set up a shop vac system, all these kinds of things. And that leads me to a free Google Keyword Planner. You can get to it by typing in Google Keyword Planner in a Google search bar, and it'll take you here. And the one of the cool things about this is, let's say you had chosen kayaking as one of your niche ideas. With the keyword planner, you can type in your niche and it will tell you what people have been searching for in relation to that keyword. So, for example, when it comes to kayaking, there are 10,000 to 100,000 monthly searches on the term kayaking near me. There are equally as many searches on fishing kayak and so on. So you can use this just simply for this column. So I'm showing you this because it shows you the different things you can write about and how popular the terms are. Uh, One thing I looked at, for example, that I thought might be a good idea, and it still may, and I may, by sharing it, may lose my future opportunity, but um, I'll do it anyway. I went to Disneyland with the family, and we did the little penny pressing machines, and my kids just loved it. And we started to Google it, and I realized there was not a lot of information out there about these penny pressing machines, and I thought that would make a perfect niche site. So I came in here and I looked at it, and I realized, well, there's not a lot of people looking for it. For one thing, 10 to 100 is not a lot of monthly searches, and somebody is already putting advertisements out there for it. Now, that's unrelated to the niche blogging, but it's just showing you a low search volume. However, I think 100 to 1,000 is enough to go after. So if I were to pick penny pressing as my niche site, I would write about penny press machines. They're also called penny press or penny smashers. You could do Disney pressed pennies, coin press machines, Disney World press pennies, squished penny. So these are all the different topics you could write about to start landing on the top of the search engine result pages, or the SERPs as they're called. And it gives you an idea of the trend. This is all about trying to figure out how feasible is the niche idea that you're looking at. Now, here's another idea for you. Here's another idea on where you can find niche site ideas. And it's a little, out of the box a little bit, but I think it's important to think outside the box every now and then. This is my junk mail. And the interesting thing about junk mail is sometimes you can find gold in the junk, right? The one man's trash is another man's treasure. These people, for the most part, that spam us would not be spamming us if it wasn't profitable, right? That makes sense. So if you look through these things that you're getting spammed on, and these are some of my current spam, there must be money in, and we know there's money in diabetes because it's a huge pandemic problem affecting a lot of people. So here's somebody spamming us, trying to get us to click on their email about type 2 diabetes and what will cure it. So remember, when you're looking for a niche, there are some basic things to look for. And again, I don't want to rehash what all the other videos say, but basically you're looking for you're focusing on either one type of product, or one specific keyword, or a problem that you can solve for the people out there looking for the answer. And here is an example of people with diabetes are always looking for a solution. So if you wanted to look into this and see what it is, you can. But I will caution, though, to be careful of medical niches, because they're, I guess I'll use the term highly regulated, but Google has got a keen eye on medical websites. So just beware of that one. Don't know what that is. Here's one about being overweight, metabolism. That's always, diet pills are always a huge niche, very competitive. Joint pain. If you could figure out a sub niche of joint pain, like maybe just osteoarthritis, or just a particular location in the body for arthritis, you could probably find a sub niche. Arthritis itself is a bigger niche. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but there'd be a lot of competition. Supplements, Thanksgiving, bodybuilding, drones. There's another niche. Travel, Marriott, timeshares, tactical pins might be a niche. So you get the idea. Open up your spam, look through it, look at the subject matter of the emails, and see if anything piques your interest. And if it does, then head back to the Google Trends and see what it's been doing over the past 5 years. Another method that you can use to find a solid niche idea is to go to Flippa.com. Flippa is a website that sells niches, and you can see by the selling price roughly how popular or how much money that site is selling. Websites right now are typically selling for about 25 times their monthly earnings. So if it's making $100 a month, it's selling for $2,500. So that's roughly about what this website must be making. If you click on it, this is just an idea of how to look for a niche, right? So this one is about large comprehensive automotive resource portal with info on cars, bikes, etc. So it sounds a little bit broader. It's got bikes and cars. So that's going to take a little bit longer to rank because there's going to be more competition in a larger niche area like that. That's why I recommend the smaller niches, the kind of a sub niche, because there's less competition and you can rank faster. But this is another example of how you can find niche ideas. And this is kind of from the back end, if you will. This is finding what's already been built and what's already out there. And you might say, well, if it's already there, then it's already, it's already earning for that keyword. It's already going to be ahead of me. That might be true for now, but there are ways you can outrank the competition that's already at the top of the search engine results. So those are my suggestions for niche topics. Go through your garage, go through your spam, go through Flippa. Just pay attention everywhere you go. I was at the gym the other day and I was running on the treadmill and I was thinking, a treadmill would be a great niche because for a while that was the only type of exercise I wanted to do. I didn't really like running outside because I felt like I ran too slow. I'm a big guy, I run slow. And so on a treadmill, it didn't matter because you don't move. You're not making forward motion, you're just running in place. And so as I was thinking about the treadmill, I thought that'd be a great niche to write about. What would I write about? Well, I'd obviously write about running on it and how to different exercise programs on it. There's high intensity interval training. There's just straight on jogging, for 30 minutes. There's jogging, walking backwards on a treadmill. There's sidestepping. There's all kinds of different things you can utilize a treadmill for. And then there's other aspects, like if I were to go jog with my wife, she runs faster than I do. So there is no chit chat. There's no go run with me in the traditional sense as we're running together and we're talking about our day or our kids or something. She'd always be way ahead of me within the first 2 minutes. But on a treadmill, she's right next to me the entire time. So we're able to talk and talk about schedules and current events and things like that. So there's a social aspect to a treadmill. But my point is, when you're doing your daily routine, start thinking about everything you're interacting with, what brings you pleasure, what you enjoy, and could you write about that topic? Could you write about um, whatever it is that you do on a regular basis? And if you can, do a little bit of research on it, check out the competitors, and it's okay if there's already people writing about it. But what you really want to see is if you do a search for a topic and you see the top 2 or 3 or 4 results are dated back before 2018, that tells you that nobody's writing about it and you have a good shot at getting to the top. So let's go back to the example of the pressed penny. Let's say you decided you wanted to do pressed penny collecting as your niche. You'll notice that the second entry down here, the second spot, which means they're going to get a lot of the traffic for people that type this in, is dated all the way back to January 28th of 2015. And so little things here is coming up on them, and they're probably going to pass by them because they are a very recent published article. They're going to overtake this one, and that's an example of a niche. What you're seeing over here is a free tool called Keywords Everywhere, and you can download that for free. It's a browser plugin. Of course, I'm using Chrome, and it will show you, based on what you typed in, all the other keywords in the area and what other people search for. But like Income School points out, you cannot rely on any one tool to do your research. Just like anything else in life, you never want to take one person's word for something and invest in it. You always want to do your research. But what Keywords Everywhere is telling me is that the top keywords searched are penny collector album, pressed pennies near me, pressed pennies Disneyland, and so on. But what I wanted to show you was, even though there's people that are already talking about it, this is some old stuff. That's very old. And as you scroll down, 2016, Wikipedia's on there, 2017. So in my opinion, this is still a good topic to go after, but you you would want to look at your search volume and some other things. If you like to collect pressed pennies, then why not write about something you like about? And maybe it only makes you $500 a month, but the whole point of this blogging is to build up a small set of websites, as many as you can handle. And if you've got 10 making 500 a month, then you've got $5,000 and you've got full-time income. So I'll wrap that up there. I hope this gave you some ideas of where you can get some niche topics. I shared with you in one of my first videos that one of my favorite niches is what I do for a living, which is radiology. I started off as an x-ray tech and learned how to do CAT scan, and then went to ultrasound school and learned MRI. And so I chose the radiologictechnologist.com as my niche site and have been plugging away at it since April. I already showed you all the stats in my other video. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go back and see what that looks like. But you have to grab a niche and get going. It was General Patton that said a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan next week. You need to pick a niche and violently attack that niche and get going, because if you wait for the perfect niche to come along, you may never start. So that's it for today's video on Blogging Mentor. Today we talked about niche selection, going through your garage, going through your spam, looking around in your daily life, all the different ways to look for something, whether it's a particular product or a problem people are having like diabetes or weight loss, or a particular keyword that you want to go after. Pick something and commit to it and be prepared to get engaged. And in the next few videos, I'll show you how to fully engage and get engulfed in that niche and start to lay down some social network anchors that get you into the community. And we will start to build up a little bit of a social following, if you will, and that will set the stage for growing some inorganic traffic to your website while we wait for Google to find us and start sending us organic traffic. Again, if you have questions, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.